Here, let's get started overall with like thought cataloging, fave tweets of 2024 from Turkish Airlines booking agent. Whitlock inadvertently exposing his web surfing habits. I'm looking at NFL standings on ESPN.com. This is the ad running above the standings. How is this possible? How is this appropriate? Balls deep inside of me is a great way to spend your birthday. Funny happy birthday, him, husband, boyfriend, birthday gifts, decorations. That's not even that bad. Usually when these guys get got, oftentimes it's like gay shit. They'll be like, why are there gay ads on my Veterans Affairs website? And it's like, yeah, because you're looking at gay shit. It's your cookies. Pathetic sniveling. I love you. Several years ago, I wrote a long email inviting your wife, Neri Oxman, on my show. I had watched her TED Talk and thought that given my evolutionary-based research, we'd have tons to talk about. I never received a reply, which would have been minimally courteous. Cheers. Funny, you say this. I wrote an email to you and never got a reply. When the Raptors put MLK in their crosshairs, oh my God. That's great. That's incredible. Incredible moves. Keep it up. This was great. I remember this one. This is what the world looked like before mass immigration, widespread racial and gendered guilt activism, and before bankers had totally screwed the economy for their own gain. People were just allowed to be themselves, and they did fun, wholesome things for their own sake. The quote retweet is just smooth criminal alien ant farm, which is a banger, objectively. Has nothing to do with whatever the f this dipshit is talking about. It's really funny that these guys actively would be like, why are you making everything political? Like, this is how they ran for years and years, saying everyone is an SJW. SJWs love making everything political, And then now they just do that. They do that all the time. And they've never stopped doing that, really. This is the kind of whimsical take I missed. Was rare this year. Teaching kids thank you is weird. Saying thank you because you were taught to, not because you're thankful, is weird. Saying something you don't mean and you don't know why you're saying it is weird. I'm going to say something somewhat controversial or a hot take. These types of tweets from the one friend who's too woke used to be some of the best bangers on this website. And now they're all on blue sky, contained far away from the rest of us. And it makes me sad because tweets like this used to make like random individuals the woke of the day or the main character of the day, and it would dominate the website's discourse for like a couple days. Now all of the Nazis are so goddamn annoying and so in your face that one, they ran these guys out of the website, and number two, there's nothing in the algorithm that allows you to push statements like this out there. And I like it. I like stuff like this. I enjoy stuff like this. I wonder what oh God, Palmer Lucky. I wonder what the world would look like if every man was expected, perhaps even required, to set a world record, to prove themselves or something of their creation, the best at something as a baseline for respect and recognition as a man. What is Palmer Lucky's baseline? Being a gross little freak? This is the classic. Yeah, this is like the best. Anyways, y'all don't know what this means. Don't buy any Kellogg's products. Stand in solidarity with Kellogg's workers and don't cross the picket line no matter what. Hi, someone with heavy food sensory issues here. Frosted mini wheats are one of the only things I can actually consume regularly and not get sick from. Guilting people who can't support boycotts is ableist as f, but y'all aren't ready for that conversation. This tweet lives in my brain permanently. It's perfect. It's wrecker shit. It's shallow identity politics. It's the utilization of emancipatory language in an effort to be narcissistic and become the center of attention. It's something that you did not need to let people know and you could have just like quietly continued doing. It's amazing. It's perfect. It's chef's kisses all around. Most of the outwoking competitions on Twitter can just be reduced to, what about me? Hey, have you guys thought about me lately? So much of these conversations basically revolve around like people wanting to be the center of attention, and they use emancipatory language. And also, we on the left, we that want to be progressive, do not have a way of like analyzing statements like that with the critical lens that it deserves. So we automatically assume, oh, they're saying the right words. They're saying the right words, so they must have a valid claim. People freaking out about Barbie not winning enough Oscars, Hillary never missing an opportunity to girl boss. Maybe this is an oversimplification, but Ryan Gosling being nominated but not Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig perfectly explains to me why we aren't in the 8th year of Hillary Clinton's presidency. Oh my God. Greta and Margot, while it can sting to win the box office but not take home the gold, your millions of fans love you. You're both so much more than Knuff. Hashtag Hillary Barbie. I'm so sick of running as fast as I can, wondering if I'd get there quicker if I was a man. You know, I'm going to get a little political here, excuse me, but this is yet another instance of like valid systemic problems, valid systemic critique, only being approached from the lens of a hyper narrow consumer focused cultural attitude. Do women have a harder time getting ahead in a patriarchal society? Absolutely. Are there structural limiters or structural hurdles that are sometimes even invisible, or rather, even if it's not invisible, especially if you're a woman, invisible to men that men simply don't understand and can't empathize with? Absolutely. Having that conversation within the framework of the Barbie movie not receiving enough Oscars, excellent. Americans have two speeds, dude. Burger and guns. I want to my gun and I want to eat my burger, and every single political conversation will be reduced to burger gun. Gun burger. No, it is a perfect example of how women are set aside. See, that's it. There you go. Valid systemic critique being had on the basis of a toy movie not receiving enough Oscars, which it still got like Oscar nods in general, but just not enough. And there it is. Point proven. Double points, as a matter of fact. It's more than a toy movie. Did you watch it? I did. It was great. I enjoyed it. It's more than a toy movie. It's more than a toy movie. Ay, ay, ay. That's amazing, chat. You got it. Ryan Gosling being nominated, but not Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig perfectly explains why we aren't in the 8th year of the Hillary Clinton presidency. Is so funny because it also reduces Hillary Clinton's losses to the fact that she's a woman. Once again, it played a role in this. Absolutely. Is it the main role? Absolutely not. Anyway, fantastic stuff, though. I'm glad that there are still people in here that are willing to keep up that good fight. Let's continue. Do you hire exclusively black people for your NBA team because you believe their race and all of his biological traits, height, superior stamina, and strength gives them a competitive advantage? Jesus Christ. Ian Miles wrong once again. Why would a man marry this tall blonde billionaire crone? Says Owen Benjamin, another an absolute freakazoid. An absolute freakazoid. Why would a rich famous guy marry a 34-year-old woman? If you started immediately, you might be able to have kids. And she's publicly had sex with a ton of guys. Despite her wealth, she's very low quality for any successful male. Just seems weird and almost like he's a gay guy. Why would a successful man want a middle-aged woman who's always on tour? Could it be because he's gay? Fellas, is it gay to date an incredibly successful, beautiful, talented 34-year-old woman? If it's gay, I am a flaming homosexual. I'm doing bodies in spaces. I'm holding space for queer media every time I'm online. Because if that's gay, I don't know. I don't know what the going on here. Okay, this is Rad Live for Men. Exactly. This wasn't real. This wasn't a real tweet. Go yourself for wanting to discriminate against. I don't think Jordan Peterson actually beefed with Elmo. Restaurants exploit the hungry. Keith Lee is a capitalist that is exploiting. Oh, yes. Keith Lee is a capitalist that is exploiting struggling restaurants for personal gain. In the same way restaurant owners exploit hungry people for personal gain. His work doesn't change anything. It only perpetuates the class struggle. We need mutual aid, not charity. What? I don't know how we got here, but like somehow this person makes Anarchitties look like the most brilliant people you've ever seen. Okay. Don't say classic anarchists. Okay. The average anarchist has an infinitely better understanding of the world than this. This person does not know anything. He said restaurant owners exploit hungry people for personal gain. The concept of exploitation does not work this way. What are you saying? He doesn't understand what mutual aid is. He doesn't understand what charity is. I don't even know what's going on here. I feel like this is an AI. This is an early stage AI, not even like a better developed chat GPT that was like, here, talk like a 12-year-old who saw in the corner of his eye a meme about Kropotkin or something. Like not even read the meme thoroughly. Cannabis is a silent epidemic wreaking havoc on the American family. A friend brought some of these over and I drank 2 around 8 p.m. My body completely shut down and I slept from 9 p.m. until 10 a.m. I slept through Sunday mass. How is this legal with such innocent packaging? Perfect Bushwick party at 11 p.m. on a Sunday is joints being passed around a room of only white guys and Asian girls. Fallen Angels is playing on the TV screen. and someone is reading Simone Weil. This is currently my party. Uh-oh. MB Erasure once again. Arg, I'm sorry. Should have written femmes. Arg, NB Erasure once again. Taylor Throwbacks. 2019, London Boy, cause you know I love a London boy. Track 5, so long London. What does so long mean in slang? Goodbye, phrase you can say so long, an informal way of saying goodbye. What do you mean so long? Who needs a definition for so long? I was excited to see the new season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, but sadly the formerly compelling cast all look desiccated and grayish yellow now and have that what's the point vibe of the multiply vaccinated. Sad for the cast, but also what a blow this all is for the arts, including for comedy. Dr. Naomi Wolf, incredible. RFK Jr. should have stopped everyone from being vaccinated on set, considering that he is married to Cheryl Hines, but he couldn't. The right sees football and the culture war. Them watching the Super Bowl, getting drunk, wearing a jersey with another man's name on it, participating in a satanic ritual. Us going to mass, wearing dress clothes, praising God, worshiping Jesus, spending the day with loved ones and family. Which one are you choosing? Real men, non-liberals, would rather have beer with Sean Strickland over the woke Travis Kelce any day of the week. Stephen Pollard. I rarely do personal on here, but I've noticed a phenomenon which mixes personal and political. I'm divorced and on a couple of dating sites. Feels very odd, but it's the way it's done nowadays. I noticed a few weeks after October 7th that some profiles started to show the Palestinian flag. There were think pieces written on this, by the way. It's so amazing. I know there was at least one article that we read on stream on this issue alone. Like older Zionist men complaining about how they can't date younger women. Incredible stuff. But something has happened more recently. It's not yet the majority, but many profiles I see now say no Zionists. It is now, it seems, a normal thing for people to declare publicly that they refuse to consider dating a Jew, which is of course what no Zionist means. This is where we are now. These are dark times. Hinge and Tinder are swamped with anti-Zionism, says Jewish singles. No, online dating is not immune to the October 7 effect, say Jewish singles. Fucking incredible stuff, dude. It's incredible because it's like, it's quite literally a political movement. It is not a substitute for all Jewish people. So when you say, no, this political movement, this inherently fascist political movement is actually a substitute for what all Jewish people believe. It's a self-own for no reason in terms of perpetuating anti-Semitic narratives. It's crazy. There are so many HasanAbi heads who are also Jewish, anti-Zionists. And I'm sure that that does happen because I have talked to some friends of mine in general and some HasanAbi heads as well, who are sometimes fearful of outward representations of Judaism because they're worried that the average person is going to immediately say, oh, you must be pro-Israel. That is because of the overwhelming amount of articles such as this one and statements such as this one and forward-facing Jewish organizations routinely using their Judaism to associate with the state of Israel. It's really up. What is this? I can guarantee you that many BIPOC women and queer folks have lusted after Fred Hampton, Thomas Sankara, Che Guevara, and Fidel Castro, among many other communist revolutionary figures. Just because you personally don't get sexually aroused by leftist/commie revolutionary types who fight for true liberation doesn't mean other people don't. We are human. We experience a whole range of human emotions every day. Horniness is one of them. Okay. Bring back shame. Some things need to be only relegated to the halls of academia if you want to have a conversation about that. You know what I mean? You can write a PhD dissertation on it or some shit. But like, you don't have to blast it on Twitter to be like, I want to and suck Che Guevara, and it's normal, and you should also agree with me when I say that. That's crazy. Just write a dissertation, keep it in the halls of academia, or just, you know, keep it in your own mind. I don't know. Horniness is one of them. Just be real about it. Yes, we might get sexually aroused sometimes, even while we are simultaneously fighting for liberation. Yes, even while we are actively fighting against a literal genocide. We don't have to pretend we aren't sexual because others are suffering a genocide. Trying to make ourselves suffer 24/7, somehow thinking that solidarity does not do anything to help other people being genocided. I refuse to be shamed for being a human being who gets turned on sometimes by other strong anti-fascist and anti-Zionist Marxist communists who fight strongly for liberation for all. We must be honest about this. We fight for everyone to have the freedom to be able to experience and express all of the normal human emotions too, such as joy and pleasure, including Palestinians. Wow. What is this? Oh, Connor is back at it again. The irony of my name is that it's remarkably common, yet in this context holds deep lore beyond whoever bears it. I was thinking that. Not enough people giving you credit for that. Would love to unpack this with you on my show, Adrian. We play Fortnite together in a talk show format. Kind of like Hot Ones. Fire emoji. The fans would love to see it. God, I love Connor. He's hilarious. When the Tumblr CEO accidentally posted his DMs, when will you be honest with your followers that the repeated adult content violations were not pictures like this, but likely ones on your other accounts? Actual names: Irish Big Cock Girl, Burger Foot Job, Furry Vor Burps, Breadstrogen, Cum Burp, Dog Girl Ballsack, Hung Queen, Big Titty Cock Girlfriend, Big Cock Titty Girlfriend, Girl Taint, Musk Mommy, Girl Ballsack, Shower Sharts, Sapiosexual Breeder, Cat Girl Hairball. You know what's funny? You don't need to know that this is the Tumblr CEO accidentally posting his DMs. This context stands alone. If you just clip this part out and just read the statement, you'd be like, oh, someone is doing a meme about the Tumblr CEO accidentally posting his DMs. Me getting really defensive about his sexuality. Oh, that was funny as well. Yeah, this was when I got a girl around me, I'm f***ing her twice a day. Lol. Ask some of your favorites. Pussy don't control me, but it's like a high. One love to the gay people, but that juicy pussy do it for me. I done ran red lights to get that feeling. Y'all weird on here like devils, lol. Y'all choose to watch rap battles and gossip. I watch Gaza, Israel, Haiti being torn apart. I watch the state of people really poor in real life. Some think I'm different. I think they are clueless to real life. But hey, who am I? Y'all do coke. I don't. Some gay, I'm not. That was actually a banger when Meek Mill got like incredibly defensive over not being gay, and then everyone on the timeline was like, oh, you've definitely had sexual intercourse with men. Posting like a dude who has absolutely had sexual intercourse with men. Woke Jeopardy ideas. Difficult question that require context for $400. Is it better to A, cleanse the earth and nuclear fire, B, vote Republican? What? Again, Elon being an imbecile. Mackenzie Scott plans to give away all of her money. So far, she's given away $16.5 billion. Yet she's even giving away money to nonprofits that aren't asking for money. I'm not stopping until the safe is empty. Super rich ex-wives who hate their former spouse should be filed. Should filed be listed among reasons the Western civilization died? Yeah, this is how the Western civilization dies. Wait, what is this? This is who you're trading against? I don't even remember this guy. Kind of proving the point here, man. Beautiful afternoon in Tel Aviv. Can't find any apartheid, but just had some jalapeno hummus. That was excellent. Pedo posting. You're a soldier of Alexander. You just broke into the Palace of Babylon and you see exactly this in one of the rooms. The girl just turned 16. What do you do? What the Dude, this needs to be talked about. 2024 had infinitely more overt defense of wanting to minors on the timeline than any other year prior. So many people were either outed as pedos or openly defended pedophilia for no reason after others were outed as pedos. That's Sydney Sweeney, Hasan. I know, dude. This is a person of age. It is weird to look at a person who is of age and be like, but imagine if she was 16, just turned 16, was 15 yesterday. What is wrong with you? But yeah, post Elon purchase of Twitter, pedophilia has and defense of pedophilia has skyrocketed. I don't know if this is just like my estimation because I'm just seeing it more. I don't know, but it does feel like it has certainly gone up for sure. Love no penis was included to invite contemplation. What? Autonomous man. This is what evolution looks like. You can't hate, stop it, join or die. No penis was included to invite contemplation that the future may defy our expectations in the most surprising ways. I mean, Brian Johnson does take a shitload of estrogen too, no? Guy who is definitely not gay. I love bodacious tatas. Oh, Rod Dreher, my favorite in the closet gay man. I know a lot of people don't like Richard Hanania, a white supremacist. But any man who can launch and sustain a discourse on how Sydney Sweeney's bodacious tatas are a formidable weapon against the curse of wokeness is doing something urgently right. Carry on, lad. The 90s were 30 years ago, you old hag. It's so cringy to see middle-aged men wearing Nirvana band t-shirts like they're trying to fit in with young people. Like, shouldn't you have your own style from your own era? Yeah, middle-aged men wear Nirvana band t-shirts because they're middle-aged men. No young people are wearing Nirvana brand t-shirts because it is not from their era. Haven't considered this. Maybe settlers are good after all. There's this weird idea of all settlers as some kind of messianic religious fanatics. Well, I'm a settler and I'm totally a secular geek who plays D&D for a living, read tons of fantasy and science fiction, and watches anime. You are still a settler. That you don't use religion to justify what you do isn't the win you think it is. I don't need to justify anything to the likes of you. I live because I live. If this isn't good enough for you, I don't care. I don't see you harassing American or Japanese people about why they're alive. That's amazing. Large penis worship is just another form of slave worship. Virtue and penis. Oh, this was an amazing one too. Virtue and penis size are inversely proportional. Shaming men for having small penises is anti-European and anti-aristocratic. Enjoy your free lunch while it lasts, slaves. Your time in the sun is coming to an end. Yeah, the Hellenist openly coming out in defense of men with small penises. 100%. As someone suffering from ADHD and autism, cocaine has gotten me through some of my toughest periods of my life. I don't support relying on it to This is, again, another f***ing banger. That vegan healer saying cocaine helped with their ADHD and autism. I don't support relying on it to function forever, as I myself am on rehab. But I'd be lying if I said it hasn't literally saved my life time and time again. Dogs are settler colonial. It looks like the cut, and people more broadly are beginning to catch up to the idea that dogs in large cities are essentially settler colonial, a way for their owners to move into and occupy more of the urban space than they are allotted, while making it everyone else's problem. Oh, this was amazing. The year in Hasbara could be a list in and of itself. My wife is a brave Jew. We stood alone at Yale University today. She wore no mask and was proud. Notice the horde hiding behind their masks. This was fantastic. Swifties turned into J. Cole fans this year. People hate Taylor Swift's music because it challenges and forces them to slow down, digest, and engage deeper with what they're audibly consuming. Instant gratification is ruining our ability to fully appreciate music. Brianna Wu had a banner year. This will not be her only appearance. It's not hard to figure out why someone white would have an Asian last name. Oh my God. That's a wild tweet. That's just like, she's like, yeah, I have a fetish. I don't get it. Brianna Wu is a white lady who is married to an Asian man, which is perfectly valid, perfectly normal. Who gives a shit? And I think she might have been responding to me on this. You know, she maybe took it a little too far. Why not just post your husband alone and be like, this is my wonderful husband who I love and deeply admire, and that's why I have his last name. She's a libertarian. It all makes sense now. Oh my God. From the ranks of libertarian guys with Asian wives comes libertarian wives with Asian guys. Oh, that's amazing. I didn't even think of that. Leif Rasmussen. I might be a psychopath. I was at the grocery store and I saw this lanky brown kid in a cafe with the most effete sociology grad student you ever heard. As he was walking down the aisle, he turned to his friend and was like, oh my God, Ritz crackers are the most disgusting thing ever. If you haven't ever had one, consider yourself lucky. Something in me wanted to throw an opaque sack over this kid's head, quickly drag him out of the store, throw him in a van, drive him to an abandoned warehouse, lock him in a closet, and only give him a daily rotation of cockroaches and boiled shoe leather to eat. Then after like 3 months, slide a box of Ritz crackers through a little hatch in the door. Yeah, no, you are a psychopath, man. I'm an advocate for free speech. I don't think that, things you say should land you in prison, except I've decided if you think this and you say this out loud, you should go to prison. There is such a thing as too much. At least get a knock on the door from the authorities to check the basement. You know what I mean? Unimpeachable analogy. The Persian Jewess. Imagine people flooded the streets and supported Diddy, claiming this attack on Cassie was justified resistance against oppression. Then you'd feel a fraction of the shock, rage, and betrayal Jews are feeling over the suffering of the hostages. Yeah, I went there. Yeah, except you don't have to go too far here. There is mass that the Israeli occupying force has done with regular frequency, and you and many others either defend it or completely ignore it. So wild to do a Diddy analogy in defense of Israel and the broad reception that defenders of Israel receive. Missing the mark a little bit. Interesting way to stop anti-Semitism, but who am I to second guess? Meet Ireland's Foreign Minister Michael Martin family. On October 7th, Hamas terrorists kidnapped his daughter Ayob Martin into Gaza. Today, Foreign Minister Michael Martin announced he is rewarding his daughter's rapers with a state of their own. Lunacy, right? This post is for illustrative purposes only and did not actually occur. Yeah, that was a... Stop Anti-Semitism is so insane. It's awesome. For the record, this did not happen. Stop Anti-Semitism was just like... is a schizophrenic Long Island woman, and because of the incredible amount of legitimacy that we randomly offer any and every group or person that is pro-Israel, that she just gets to be a psychopath on her own, and people still like kind of take her. They don't take her super seriously, but like people still act like that's a real legitimate organization. Peasant brain, normal. It's heartbreaking when my youngest son's eyes light up and he points and says, "Look at the sky." I'm like, that's not the sky. Medieval peasant brain. I love that. Hey, you're fat, right? What do you think of my fetish cartoon? I do think this one is worth addressing. I tried to base it off the original, which also has her eating. I also ran it by plus size friends and they didn't seem to mind. Okay, Joe Cat slander will not be tolerated. He's just horny, man. He's just weird and horny. I am choosing to believe the First Lady sucked Joe Biden's dick so hard on Thursday afternoon that his mouth stayed open until Sunday. Let that one sink in a little bit. Let's... Perhaps the most like the police anyone has ever looked. A group of black teenagers started calling me police as I walked past them in Manhattan today and kept repeating it. I don't think I look like the police. The Lindy Man, Luigi Mangione's favorite author. Never forget, Paul Scalas might have triggered Luigi Mangione into doing something. Literally. I will never forget. Work means playing Diablo and posting 18 hours a day. Everyone is praising Mark for this video, but I personally still think he zucks. May he continue to have fun on his yacht. I prefer to work. Yeah, Elon Musk working. Black Americans were offered to go back to Africa by Lincoln. They chose to stay and took active part in American expansionism. So black Americans should at least be considered colonizer collaborators. Hard to swallow pills. Black Americans are much more colonizers than Israeli Jews. Oh my God. This is my favorite genre of tweet from Israel defenders, is that they randomly will get like so unimaginably anti-black. It's awesome. People whose ancestors were brought here as slaves against their will, forcibly ripped away from their homes and endured mass and were trafficked as cattle, are actually significantly more a colonizing force than dudes who flew in from Long Island to take a random Palestinian family's ancestral home. Yeah, no, totally. Incredible stuff. Pundits, Joe Biden needs to drop out. Biden, no. Oh, this was a banger too. God. So many good stuff happened around July. Incredible takes. This one, probably one of the best of the year. Pundits, Joe Biden needs to drop out. Biden, no. Pundits, but we really want Joe Biden to drop out. Biden, no. 8 House Dems. Joe, the pundits say you need to drop out. They really want that. Biden, no. George Clooney, come on, Joe. Just relax. You'll like dropping out. Biden, no. Voters, no means no, motherfucker. Politics and culture are too similar for comfort. Excellent. Biden Dead Enders in and of itself was a unique genre of tweeting that I think we only get once in a lifetime. You know what I mean? I mean, this is also obviously in the halls of the greats. To answer the question on everyone's minds, no, Joe Biden does not have a doctorate in foreign affairs. He's just that f***ing good. Fantastic stuff. Thank you. I've never realized just how much this country hates the elderly until last week. It's really shameful, and I don't know what to tell you, but 81 is not that old. If 81 is not that old, what's that old? Guys, I could really use some love right now. I just let my miserable liberal wife know who I am and how I feel. Pretty sure we're done. Libtard wife. Start every day with lots of self-love. What is the ChatGPT prompt? Why did a lot of African Americans like the jazz singer? Incredible. Pits out for Kamala. Love this trend. I didn't even know this was a trend. When I was growing up, friends would take out their balls and put them on each other's heads when they were laying down. Years later, I read an article by a veteran who described this happening in the military, and he said he was sexually assaulted. So stupid and pathetic. I mean, that's crazy. It's good to have boundaries. Is there a polite way to tell a coffee shop clerk owner, and I and probably others would work remotely from your fine establishment if the music was lower, but I can't hear myself think, let alone do phone interviews and Zoom calls here. Nobody wants you talking on the phone and taking Zoom calls at the coffee shop. What the f is wrong with you? Go home. Swear at me again, and you're blocked. More nonsense. She's 18 years old, but has been ovulating since she was 12 and a half. Would you prefer to marry her at this age or at a younger age? What is the ideal age a girl should be at marriage, in your opinion? I think we need to lobotomize some people. Bring back lobotomies in 2025. Rarely ever do I read a tweet that just like immediately gives me a full body visceral reaction. Gross! Yeah, mandatory hard drive check for all people that tweet like that. Mandatory. You can leave this for your therapist. A CEO I worked for seduced my wife in retaliation for my pushback at him at work. He won. I got divorced and left the company. When I say I truly understand how some executive teams can be political snake pits, I trust you will believe me. Learn from my pain. Do the following. You got cucked by your CEO and then you wrote it out loud? Oh, thank you. Thank you for having no shame whatsoever. Once again, incredible. Beyonce walks in, a cappella. Taylor Swift brings in harmony. After a verse, a quiet guitar joins in and Dolly Parton arrives. As the live band brings it to a peak, Simone Biles flips across the stage. A lone eagle soars across the audience, screeching, yes. The eagle places a crown on Kamala's head, screeches, lands on her shoulder. Game over. No need for an election. That's right. And because that didn't happen, that is the reason why Kamala Harris lost. Drew Pavlov was obviously a poster MVP, getting posterized on the timeline for our satisfaction. Drew Pavlov, Malcolm X, if you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. Now, obviously, he is an incredibly racist liberal, like an unimaginably racist liberal, which is why him using Malcolm X quotes is already funny to begin with, because he is the guy who, I guess, plays the role of the newspaper, even though he's not. Malcolm X hated Israel. He would have hated you too, Tony Montana replies. To which he turns around and says, I would have talked to him and things would have turned out very differently. But there's more. Didn't he claim that he's like spiritually Malcolm X or something? Like he came back to life? Truth nuke. If Rihanna held an AK-47 to my head when I was 16 and said, I'm gonna make a man out of you, white boy, absolutely no way I would have been upset. Incredible. Oh, it wasn't about Malcolm X. Sorry. He said he was a Tiananmen Square protester in a past life, and also that he was black in a past life. That's what he had said. This was incredible. A grifter that detransitioned because of October 7. Another one in the halls of greats. Tomorrow marks my 1-year anniversary of not wearing a breast binder. On October 7, 2023, I awoke to a siren. I didn't have enough time to squeeze myself into the barbaric breast squashing device I had used to pass as a man. I had only enough time to run to a bomb shelter. Guys, please pray for me. I feel so depressed that I'm already drinking vodka Coke at 8 a.m. I don't know. Since I've become Catholic, it just feels like I'm in an abusive relationship with Pope Francis, and I'm just not sure how much longer I can take it. Pope Francis said he will consider openness to transgender people when naming a new U.S. bishop. I've also fallen back into an old habitual sin that I thought I had already escaped. Right after going into confession too, it all feels so hopeless. I also may have posted something blasphemous without realizing. What is this? This is the 9/11 autism tweet. Attention, Drew haters. To all the haters who claim I am not neurodivergent enough to reclaim the use of the word R word in a progressive and liberating fashion, I just dug up my old kindergarten records. Explain this. I was basically the goat of being on the spectrum as a kid. My mom got me tested when I was 4 because I was obsessed with 9/11 in kindergarten and kept building block towers so that I could try to understand how the World Trade Center buildings collapsed. I didn't know Drew looked like this. Breaking footage of global terrorist Drew Pavlov getting arrested for bomb threats has been released. He doesn't look like this anymore, by the way. He's gotten significantly fatter, and from what I understand, he's very self-conscious about it and gets really mad about it. Well, 9/11 is my autistic special interest too, Drew. In retrospect, she's kind of cooking with gas here. Can't stop thinking about the irony of Liam Payne and Yahya Sinwar dying on the same day. An icon of the West, falling to the perils of addiction and excess. An icon of the East, resisting the siege of imperialism he spent his whole life under. The poetics are there. I mean, that's a little bit of a wild comparison, especially because how the f is Liam Payne an icon of the West? I think you really wanted to make that fit. I watched Terrifier 3 last night, and the thing is, I've seen so much gore coming out of Gaza lately, the movie kind of didn't shock me. What did you want to convey here exactly? You're not men, you're boys. If there was no social media, you would be my concubines. Another incredible take from a guy openly just being like, I want to do to you. Just no shame. No shame whatsoever. Very weird fantasy. I want to have gay sex with you against your will is just an insane thing to say. Another, oh, yep, this is it. This is the Drew pose. While I am white, I have black street cred. Put me on the streets of Compton and I could organize a ceasefire between the Bloods and the Crips within 24 hours. This was originally about euthanasia. You people would treat your cats and dogs with more dignity than your loved ones who are faced with a slow, painful death and no hopeful terminal illness improving. Aren't you the one who stopped masking around your cancer-stricken husband? Someone needs to beat your ass to a pulp for thinking it's all right to talk like this. You would fold faster than a wet tissue paper if I saw you offline, lol. I think it's really funny where people on Twitter talk about how they would beat each other's asses in the real world. Because if you're posting on Twitter, especially with like an anonymous account, you're not going outside. You're not. You're just not going outside. You go outside and you see sunlight, you perish. So it's very funny when people go, oh, pull up. Like, I'll beat your ass. I could literally just cough on you. Colonizer threatening me with bioterrorism. Exactly. Another banger. What is this one? This is a last second edition on December 27th. A trans Nazi putting up a Nazi flag with trans pride colors. Always so strange to see stuff like that. What do you call that person? Yeah, exactly. And Hearts of Iron 4 player. Okay, that's what you call that person. Someone who plays Paradox games. Maybe a little too much. Well, oh, this drove people insane. The olfactory ethics English lit dissertation sounds cool and you're all stupid. Her unnecessary synonyms in the subtitle bodes poorly for her intellect. Olfactory ethics, the politics of smell in modern and contemporary prose. What? Isn't modern and contemporary prose different? Like two different subsects of prose? What? Yeah, of course she's gonna specify that. What the f? There's something so funny about thinking that you know more about literature than a person who has written an entire dissertation on it. Like, you think you have not only a better grasp of the English language, which you clearly don't, but you also know more about English lit than a person who's writing a PhD on it. How? My bestie, Richard Hanania, shows his gift, an uncanny ability to guess which trans women have penises and which don't. Oh my God. What? Well, he may be a pedophile, but Epstein allegedly forced a minor to have sex with Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz. This is too bad. I like his politics. Oh well. Personally, I probably wouldn't say that at this time. Why not? I agree with his politics as a rational, classical liberal. He might be a pedophile, but he's spot on regarding law and politics. I won't apologize for supporting his stance on those things. He says, separate the art from the artist. Except for Alan Dershowitz, his personal affairs with Jeffrey Epstein also are his politics. Alan Dershowitz famously once wrote an article about, from a constitutional framework, simply as a tenured law professor, a constitutional scholar at Harvard University, he constitutionally wrote an argument in defense of lowering the age of consent. Constitutionally, of course. And then, of course, this is the greatest tweet of the year. I am constantly insulted on this platform. What a banger. This is the banger tweet of the year.